you all. Thank you for joining. I will do two. First of all, I'm Esther Echeverria. I'm the founder of LNC Recruitment. I have been myself recruiting in Dubai for the Middle East area for 8 years now. From that, I can tell what companies need to see when it comes to CV, to interview. And we will first be talking about the CV and the portfolio. And on the second time, we will be talking more about how to get ready for interview, basically. So I will just start with the presentation, and let's see if more join later. But first of all, for the CV writing. So first of all, as a designer, if some of you are fresh graduate or you have some experience, but you need, can you please just put your microphone off? So yeah, before applying, you need to know, first of all, what is it that you want for your career? Because you have different options. Would you like to apply for design and build companies? Would you like to apply for contractors where you will be less designing, but a bit more on site? Developers, client side, also this is more about, sometimes they have in-house design team, but most of the time it will be more design review and managing the consultant. Also, you can ask yourself, because Dubai has changed a lot for the last 8 years I'm here. Before, there was the main large companies, let's say the Perkins and Will at that time, or Wilson Associates, and now slowly these large corporates are less, and there is more and more small boutique studios that have opened, and it's very different to work for a large corporate or for a small boutique studio. Usually with small boutique studio, you will be more involved in all the stages, let's say from concept design to all the way to design development. And sometimes they will always, even small boutiques, they can ask you to do business development, to go to events, to do public speaking. They can ask you, even if you are a designer, because it's small companies, they might ask you diverse tasks. Well, in a large corporate company, you might be doing, let's say, only heading the concept design, or only more on the technical phase. So it's really important that before starting applying, you know exactly what you want and what you want to target, because the approach will be a bit different. Now we're going to talk about your CV itself. So this is, first of all, don't do, please. This is what I can see sometimes. So I know you are designers and you would like to show your creativity. So sometimes you go with very dark background, or very designed background. It makes them very difficult to read. So you can keep your creativity for the portfolio. Tables CV like this one, they don't add much also, and they make it more difficult to read. So no need to have tables everywhere like this. You can keep the tables only for example, for your achievement per year, when it's relevant, let's say, but no need for tables everywhere. So basically, keep in mind, everything that makes your CV more difficult to read, just avoid it. Because as a recruiter and also the talent acquisition, no one really has time to go deep into your CV. So it needs to be very easy to read and very clear. So this kind of format are much better. We just kind of quickly see everything, and it's kind of light. And even if you are creative, just again, keep it for your portfolio. In the CV, what you need, first of all, the picture. I don't know if some of you are from Western countries, or picture are like kind of forbidden in CV for, let's say, discrimination purposes and all. But here, I recommend to put a picture. This is what most of my clients are asking. So it's good to add your picture and just spend some time on your picture, you know. It has to be dynamic and approachable. Just don't do, sometimes I can see on CV like someone doing a screenshot in their car. It doesn't look really professional. Contact details, please make sure they are very fine. Sometimes I just miss out on CV because I cannot find the contact details and I don't have time to come back and ask. So this should be on top and really, sometimes down, very small, should be very easy to find. The summary, we need a quick description of who you are, what did you study. Let's say I graduated as an interior designer from American University of Sharjah. And then I have, let's say, 5 years experience with design consultancy, working on retail and F&B projects from concept design to detail design. This is just an example, but something like really understand who you are and what you do, and the quick sentence of what you are looking for. Education, some people just put on the education, just put the school or something. So we don't know exactly. We need the year of graduation. It's very important. From what year to what year did you study? And is it a bachelor degree? Is it a master degree? Or was it only a 2-year diploma? We really need to know, because here it will depend for the, it has to be certified in Dubai also. So it will depend if it's a 2-year diploma or master degree, for example. And the location also, where did you study and which university? Of course, you can put your grade also. Skills, hard and soft skills. So especially for you designers, it's very important to have a rating system next to it. So let's say you want to put AutoCAD, Revit, Grasshopper. Sometimes you will list them all just because you studied them at university, but then when I call and I ask, you actually didn't practice and you don't know much about the software. So next to it, you can put a rating system, whether it's dot or so we understand, or just 2 out of 10 on Revit, 10 out of 10 on AutoCAD. So at least we know exactly that you are an expert on AutoCAD, but you have only some basic on Revit. Experience, from the most recent to the oldest. Sometimes I see it all the way around, but it should start from the most recent. It's really important, again, to put your company, your title, the location, and the date. Sometimes the date is missing. And on the date, make sure you put months and year. Because let's say if we see 2020 to 2021, if it was from December to January, it's only 2 months. But if it was from January to December, it's 2 years. So it's make a huge difference. So don't forget, please, to put the months. Brief description of the company. That's really important. Because, of course, if you worked with, let's say, Ima or Miraz, everyone knows them. But if you've been working with a small boutique studio, we might not know what they are doing. We might not know if it's a consultancy or a contractor. So just put few notes. You can find it on the website of your company about what they do and who they are. Your responsibilities also, that's very important, because you might be a design architect. 2 CVs might both be design architect, but they will have completely different responsibilities. Some will only be doing competition and concept, and the other one will be leading all the design stages. So we really need to understand that. And you must also list all your projects you've been working on. Because again, sometimes I can see a lot of projects and the person only stay 1 year. So if you list it, at least we are sure you worked on it, and you can put the stage you worked on. Because if you worked on many projects in 1 year, I'm sure you didn't do all the stages. So if we understand, if you just put the stage of the, let's say, I did the C'est la Vie restaurant only for the concept design, and I did SLS hotel from concept to design development and site supervision. So you just describe everything you did on every project, so we can understand. Awards, that's something also very popular here in the Middle East. Companies love to see when you are multiple awards winning, when you have been shortlisting for the Young Talent of the Year. And if it's something you don't have yet on your CV and you are employed and you think of looking for a job in the future, try to be part of those competitions. It's very good to get some view and traction on your profile. Languages, obviously. hobbies. Hobbies, again, there is no good and bad, but it's important for us to kind of know who you are. And sometimes you never know, the interviewer will see that you like cricket and they like cricket too, or golfing, and you will find, and they will even like your CV more for small things like this. So just don't forget to add it. And then any certification you have, in general, the education should be on top, so we quickly know if you are a qualified architect, let's say, or engineer. And usually the certification you might have a lot, so you can just keep it for the end. Again, in some Western country, we try to keep the CV one page only. Here in the Middle East, you can have as many pages as you want. And it's actually better to have 2-3 pages, because at least it will be easier to read when there is more space. So don't worry about the number of pages. It's important that it's well detailed. Then when you want to, you have your CV ready, you want to apply, I just wanted to share here with you some big mistakes I can see. That's really, for me as a recruiter, it's really a deal breaker when I see those kind of mistakes from the applicants. Here on the top left, you can see someone saying, "Dear concerned." Here you can see my email address, Esther@LNC Recruitment. So obviously, you know my name is Esther. If you just put "Dear Esther," it would be better, because here I just feel you are applying to everyone and anyone. Here on the top right, this is basically when you saved your email address, when you created it. You can save it under your name, or you can write anything, "This person," save it to you and me for some reason. Just be careful that if it's a case long time ago you save it to any other name, just edit it to your first name and your last name. Here down left, it's written "Resume submission for any suitable position." So any suitable position, the problem is it just sounds like if I have, let's say, a restaurant manager position, I should also call you. What do you mean by any position? Like, no, you're already targeting one position. So it's CV submission for the design architect role, not for any role. You sound a bit desperate and you don't know where you are. So make sure you target. And down right, it's also something I can see a lot. So sometimes here, people want to attach with their CV their passport copy, their visa copy, now their vaccination card. They attach so many things that sometimes I cannot even find the CV, or it will make me waste a bit more time. And sometimes I just also delete just because of this kind of things, which is not great. Now you want to write your email. So this is an example of email that I write, but of course, it can be a bit different, but the idea is here. The subject should be very much targeted, as I said, design manager position. Your first name and last name is good, because at least, for example, if you call for a follow-up, we can do a quick check with your name and it will appear in our Outlook. And then the location. You attach your CV and portfolio. Again, make sure you save your CV and portfolio just with your first name and last name, because sometimes I have CV, new to this kind of names. It's really not professional. Hello, John. Again, you target someone, so you better put the first name, or Mr. John if you want to be in a bit more polite way. If you came through a referral, let's say I received your detail from this person, that's very good also, because if someone telling me I received the details from someone I know, I will take more attention and I will make sure I call you. Then you explain a bit what you did, a bit the same as you can copy and paste basically the summary on your CV here. So we can quickly understand who you are, what you did, and what you are looking for. And then make sure again, you add again your contact details, and that's so we can, if we are interested in, we can very, very quickly contact you. If, for example, you are not in the Middle East at the moment, it makes the search a bit more difficult for you, because now, especially post-COVID and all, most of the companies, they prefer to have someone already here because the process is easier and there is a lot of applicants, so they will prefer someone's here. So if, for example, you applied for outside the country, but you plan a visit in, let's say, in January, just mention it. I will be visiting Dubai in January from the 15th to the 20th and available for face-to-face interview. This adds a lot of value again. Now the portfolio. So portfolio, I can see a bit of everything, but in general, you don't need like, especially when you have 10, 20 years experience, you might have worked on so many projects. We don't need all the projects, basically, because otherwise they will be too big to read, to be honest. So you need to select the projects that you are the proudest of. Maybe the project you did 15 years ago, you were still a beginning of an architect, so maybe no need to put it, but maybe the latest ones that have won an award, just make sure you select them. And once you select them, you have to highlight the work you have done. It needs to be projects that you have done significant work on, because sometimes I can see on portfolio, let's say a 3D visual and then detailed design, and I will ask, is it your own design? And they will be like, no, this is a part of the team, it's an effort, a team effort. And then I will realize that none of the design was them, because it was actually a site responsibilities, which is fine. If you worked only on site, you can just put a built picture or some drawings and say, I reviewed all the drawings and this is a project as per build the picture. But make sure it's your work, because you will be questioned about that. And then a lot of companies are telling me it's really, really good to add your passion. Usually, for example, as designer, you are really creative. For example, I'm not at all, but I'm sure most of you are. You like photography, or you like sketching, or maybe painting, or maybe 3D design. Or I'm sure all of you are passionate about these kind of things. Add 1 or 2 pages at the end. This is what most of companies, especially if you are junior, because when you are junior, you don't have much work to showcase. So if you paint, or they will really appreciate, because it will show that you are creative and that you have taste, because in design it's very important to have good taste also. So don't be shy to add some pages about that. Now, I know a lot of you are worried about the fact that the portfolio, once you have added all of that, they become big in sizes, but there is options. In general, you can have an online portfolio when you are scared that the company will download it. Basically, if you apply on a website that you are not too sure, you can only share the online link, so they cannot download and steal your work or anything like that. And there is a lot of options like Behance, Issue, to have it online. But then when you apply to a trusted recruiter or a trusted company, most of the time they will ask a PDF, a downloadable PDF. Why? Because the HR will just print your portfolio and bring it to the director, basically. And they need to be able to print it, because the directors, they don't have time, to go on their email and open all the portfolio. So they will just showcase to the owner of the company or the managing director. So they will ask it to be on a PDF. If it's too big, you can use WeTransfer. The problem with WeTransfer is they expire after 7 days. So for recruiters, it's fine. Like me, for example, I will always download your portfolio and save it. But when you apply to a company, it's a bit risky, because then the link will be expired when they will open your CV, and they will not bother asking you to resend it. They will just delete. Google Drive link, it's one of the best options. You give the link only to trusted people again, or Dropbox. All of these are some options. Now, LinkedIn. Nowadays, me personally, I think I spend maybe 60% of my time on LinkedIn, because when you headhunt, you just have to connect, see who's there. So your LinkedIn is super important. And most of the time when someone applies, I don't even bother reading the CV. I go check the LinkedIn. So make sure your LinkedIn is up to date. Basically, the rule on LinkedIn, this is not even my up-to-date LinkedIn, but just to show you, the rule on LinkedIn is to fill everything that you can fill up, just fill it. Have your picture, have your summary. Like here in pictures, you can, there's a good thing that you can feature the latest projects. The latest, you can feature an article, for example, and that's pretty good, actually. Then be mindful, because on LinkedIn, when you type a comment, people will see it. It will appear here down. So that's the feature if you write an article and all, it's very good. And here we can see the type of comment, thanks for sharing, or, So sometimes I have candidates, they are frustrated, which I understand, you can be frustrating, but just don't go on a recruiter post and put a bad comment, because then we can see it on your LinkedIn profile and it will reflect a bit negative. We don't want negative people, basically. So you better call the person, or rather than putting anything negative comment on LinkedIn, because it shows on your profile. And then recommendations. That's also very important. If you don't have any, you can ask your previous manager, any team member, or even clients to just write a quick recommendation for you. It will really also help your LinkedIn profile. And don't hesitate to like, comment, write article, reshare whatever you see. It will show a lot of traction on your profile, and we will find you on an easier way. Sometimes I just see someone sharing something nice. I will go check the profile of the person or liking the post. I will just go and check. So this is what you want, right? So the recruiter can see your profile. Now, how and where to apply. So I already spoke a bit about LinkedIn. LinkedIn job posts, it works quite well. Me as a recruiter, sometimes we receive a lot of applicants. We post a job, we will receive maybe 200 CVs per day per positions. But still, for me, I will check every single applicant. And I know a lot of people that have actually secured their position through LinkedIn. So you have your chance with LinkedIn. Even if you see that there was already a lot of applicants, you can still try. Indeed works well, but more for the more junior position, fresh graduate or admin roles also. But I'm not sure you'll find your next design director position on LinkedIn. Same with golf talent, Nokri Golf, Monster Golf, Go to Golf, Bait. Basically, those are all quite of similar platforms. That's platforms that you can create profile and then you can apply. And if you connect recently also, like me as a recruiter, if I do a search on golf talent or on Bait, I will only search for people that have been connected, that had been active for the last 1 month. So if you're not often active, your profile will not show, because at least I know that the people are looking if they have been in Bait last month. So for these platforms, you have to stay active. But again, I think the best is LinkedIn application, but the best is still to go and like target exactly the company you want and try to connect. If it's a small company, you will want to connect with the director or the design manager. If it's a large company, you will want to connect with the HR, the talent acquisition on LinkedIn, and then send them a quick message mentioning that you are looking, attaching your CV and portfolio, and then try to build a relationship with these people, follow up time to time, try to meet face to face. If you can arrange a meeting, is good. Like especially with me as a recruiter, like if you follow up with me 10 times, it's fine, because sometimes I will maybe not remember your profile and I don't have a position for 3 months for you. And this time I do have, so I will this time send your CV. Events are really, really good when you are searching for a job. Because or even if you're not, events are really good in the industry. It works super well here in the Middle East, and there is plenty of events available for designers. And the good thing is you will meet people again in a different context, and there is skills for event and networking. You need to make sure you don't go to events with your CV and say, hi, I'm looking for a job to everyone, but mostly let them talk about themselves, introduce your work, build relationship again, and then get as many business cards as you can. And then once you go home, you can send a follow-up email, say, by the way, I'm looking for a job, was super nice to meet you yesterday. So this way, again, you will meet a lot of people. So events in general are really, really good for that. So I just put some example, but there is Index, the Big Five, all of them happening in the World Trade Center. Then there is Wild Women in Leadership Delivers. That's very good also. It's maybe once a month, and it's quite design oriented. There is Design Week. I'm not sure if they are doing it right now, because during the lockdown it was not happening. I know iDeezign have started doing it last month. Design Week is more for architects, and iDeezign is more for interior design. But it's both the same concept. It's once a month. They will choose a restaurant or a bar that has recently been designed, and they will invite the designer of the restaurant, some suppliers, everyone from the industry. And it's good because it's after work, everyone is relaxed, everyone is ready to talk and to have a good time. So it's very, very good for you to go to this one. It's free. Virtual webinars. Again, that's have been happening a lot during the lockdown, and now it's still some people like a bit less these days, but still, this is also your chance to join, to connect, to ask questions. But if you join a webinars, let's say for they will talk about sustainability, let's say. If you want to be noticed and all, you can interact and ask questions, but make sure you ask relevant questions to the topic of sustainability, and maybe you will just be noticed that way, but make sure you interact also. Increase your personal brand and traction on your profile. So I've been a bit talking about it already. Here you want basically, I think maybe there is some fresh graduate, and the young generation are much better for that with the TikTok generation and all. You are good on communication through social media, but that's very good to gain traction. So a very good thing is to, like, for example, do a podcast yourself or join a podcast of someone, like create an article on LinkedIn about your passion, share a picture of you on your latest events, shaking the hand of the owner of this company and tag him or her. And you know, this way you'll have a lots of traction, and that's what you want, again, people to be able to see your profile. Now that's it for the CV and portfolio. After that, I will do a bit of a longer presentation even about once you have secured your, let's say you send your CV and portfolio, you are invited to the interview and you have to get ready. So I will give you lots of tips and advice about that. But right now, I wanted to see if anyone here has a question about their CV, portfolio, or something I didn't talk about. You can feel free to open your microphone, your camera, and to ask your questions, basically.
Hi Esther, Shaheen this side. I have a question.